It's a season of politics, and with the conclusion of the convention of the PDP, all eyes are now on the ruling APC to conduct its own convention. And as the nation kickstarts another process of electing leaders, what should the electorate really be looking out for? And can the voters really change their narratives come 2023? Or to discuss these issues, let's now bring in a Rise News analyst, Dr. AMADI, who joins me now in the studio. Dr. AMADI, thank you so much for being here. You and I had a conversation when the convention was still ongoing, and you were so optimistic yesterday. And looking at leaders of the PDP, which is the main opposition party in the country, they are quite optimistic that they'll be able to wrestle power. They say they are poised to wrestle power from the ruling APC come 2023, especially at Aso Rock. Do you share in their same optimism?
Well, it's still too early to say what will happen. But again, the PDP is in a better shape now than they were in 2015. In 2015, there was issues around the zoning, issues around whether Jonathan should run or not run. And some can say some degree of sabotage from the northern wing of the party. But they are coming to this convention a lot more organized than the APC, a lot more cohesive. Like they said, APC has not had any convention for the past 6 years. You know, they were not able to replace the former chairman through a convention. They had to go to a special procedure at the villa, and the ripple effect of that is still ongoing. So this is a major success for them in the sense that, look, for the first time, many of the officers were unopposed. The zoning and the consensus worked well. Take, for example, the Southeast, where the secretary came from. Initially, there were many people like Mr. Chichidoka, Moyo Habumwa, they wanted to run, and they all stepped down. Think about the North. We have strong persons like Ibrahim Shema and others wanted to run, they stepped down. So basically, last night was choreographed well. You can see they were all happy. The court gave them some backing, and the major hitters like Wike, Atiku, Saraki, everybody seemed to be on the same page for now. So this is good momentum going forward. But then, can they translate this to a winning formula? And that requires three things we want to see: how they manage the cohesion onto reconvention of the presidency, which is really going to be a lot more competitive and tumultuous. Second is, can they rebrand themselves in the perception of Nigerians? Because look, the demographic of the real voters in 2023, mostly the Twitter generation. And the perception of PDP in the last 16 years, the framing of PDP, by the way, by the APC, that led to the victory in 2015 is a sense that PDP was a chaotic, corrupt party. So the PDP has between now and the election time
to change that entire narrative,
and then messaging now to the Nigerian public around what they will do different. For now, they are riding the momentum, they have the wind behind them, but they need to do a lot more to see if they can actually, politically gain momentum from what seemed to be lackluster performance of APC in government.
I like the fact that you're actually using the word "for now," because the truth is, a lot of pundits are advocating that there might be some controversies in the PDP. Looking at, how the convention went, yes, there was a lot of consensus there. But beyond the consensus, the fact that the North Central now has the chairmanship of the party, one would expect that the presidency should actually be zoned to the South, be it the Southeast, Southwest, or the South-South. But the fact that we're seeing more of the northern aspirants, I want to call them that, because if you look at the likes of Aminu Tambowal of Sokoto State, we look at the likes of, anyway, let's not jump the gun. But the fact that Atiku Abubakar, he's actually very prominent with the party. His chances really to emerge as the candidate, as he did in 2015. Now that the candidacy of the chairman is now in the North.
Ideally, Atiku is the candidate to beat, but once you're in other jurisdictions, once you're the candidate of the party for election and you lose, presumptively you'll be the person to beat. So Atiku stands a greater chance. He has the structures, he has name recognition. But again, the fact that PDP had zoned the chairmanship to the North Central, to the North, as it were, creates an expectation or a situation that their candidate might come from the South, but it doesn't follow, because they have made it explicit in the zoning arrangement that the chairmanship zoning has nothing to do with the elective office. They were particular that this is the party structure. And by the way, the PDP constitution speaks clearly about rotation of party leadership. Now, so there's some kind of gentleman agreement among these actors that these arrangements do not foreclose anything. So what that means, therefore, is the South can veer for the presidency, the Northeast, North South, Northwest, everybody can veer. But again, in real terms, in terms of courage, in terms of people who are coming out posthumously, the North seem to be having the assurance more that they want to get this power. So you can say Atiku is on the field already, Tambuwal is on the field, Saraki is on the field. Now if you go to the Southeast or the South-South, you don't see people who are already on the field. But that does not mean they are not vying.
Is that intentional for those from the South, especially for the Southeast geopolitical zone, to be a bit quiet for now?
Well, it could be a mixture of two things. One is a sense, it could be a sense, a defeated sense in a sense that, look, maybe based on the political momentum we're at the receiving end. It could also be tactical because if you invest in the Southeast, the IPOP issues, the secessionist beats, and so on, creates a dampener, as it were. So the people like Anyim, who are experienced politicians, might be bidding their time, but now they say they are going to run. So essentially, two things will play out here. The PDP team seems to be much more focused on winning power. So they're going to factor all these considerations and say, look, what's our best foot forward? And then find a mechanism to compensate those who ought to have it by, logical.
Compensate. So you're already envisaging that most likely it might not swindle, the pendulum might not swing to the Southeast.
Ideally, it should be Southeast, but
Dr. AMADI, you know what? We're not soothsayers, so we cannot really say what the future holds. But one thing we can actually look at, the fact that the APC, I'm sure they watched this convention of the PDP. Let's talk about their expectations from the APC and really the electorates watching this. What should they be looking out for as we draw closer to 2023?
First, for APC, they will be taking the script from PDP. For example, we have a PDP national youth leader who is 25 or thereabouts. So APC would move away from a 50-year-old. So we're going to see those mimetics. They're going to imitate some bit of what's going on. We've had largely rancor-free convention. So APC would like to also stage a convention that would not end in crisis. Look at what's going to happen. There'll be so much movement in and out of these two parties as we run down to 2023. The party that's able to keep more cohesion is a party that goes to the game much more united. So APC would like to have a rancor-free, peaceful, successful problem. But then the voting public, what's going in play here? Yes, they're going to see a PDP that seems chastened, seems reformed slightly, and with IU, a clear-headed, academic, experienced politician who expects some kind of rebranding. So the voters are going to be watching out whether PDP first has gotten over some of its own hangover from before 2014, whether PDP has presenting a magic, some kind of policy formulation. They are strong on policy, that will take care of some of the errors of the government. The APC themselves would like to fight on, they have two issues. One, how are they going to manage the body presidency? They have to define the body presidency first as a success, even though not too much success. And they find an argument to try to say we'll do better. Again, they're going to try to stick PDP into that mode of a corrupt party. Because the only language they're going to win on the weakness of PDP. PDP has the capacity, as it happens to opposition parties, to win on the failure of APC. APC will win not on its record, it seems to me, but on tagging PDP with maybe
politicking at the end of the day is what you're saying.
The bra, the golden bra, the silver bra, all those symbolisms. But the PDP will get over it if they start rebranding and providing a new consciousness of the party. So voters are going to say, these two parties, we've seen the PDP, we've seen the APC, who has a better record, number one. Number two, we are seeing the characters. Don't forget, it's also about people. Who is the face? Who will be their candidates? So when they look at the candidates, ask themselves, which of these candidates seem to have the capacity to drive this change we're talking about? Is it the PDP of 16 years or the APC of 6 years? So we now have two records to compare, and that will be
less than 17 months to the next general elections. Well, we don't have a lot of time, but of course I'm not sure the electorates are watching as well. Dr. AMADI, thank you so much for your in-depth analysis tonight.